My name is Sophia, and this is not some fantasy, not some exaggerated story you'd hear whispered in hushed tones. It's my life. And it still burns like gasoline in my veins when I think about it. Because the day my parents betrayed me was the day I swore I would never again let anyone use me as collateral for their selfishness. It was the day they sold my dream, my car, the one thing I had bled, sweated, and clawed my way into earning. And they handed it over on a silver platter to my sister, the golden child, like I was just a shadow that didn't matter. You see, I wasn't born into money. Every dime I had ever touched I earned. I worked night shifts at a dingy diner, flipped burgers until the grease soaked into my pores, saved every single tip in a jar hidden beneath my bed. For 3 years, I lived on almost nothing while my friends went out to movies. I stayed home. While they shopped for new clothes, I patched mine with shaky stitches. And when I finally had enough, I walked into that dealership, signed the papers, and drove off in the car of my dreams, a metallic black Dodge Challenger, the kind of car that made people turn their heads when you pulled up, the kind of car that didn't just carry you, it carried your spirit. That car wasn't just metal and wheels. It was freedom. It was proof that I wasn't invisible. Every rev of the engine was my way of screaming at the universe, I exist, and I am worth something. But to my parents, it was just a bargaining chip. It started subtly. My younger sister, Hannah, had been drowning in debt. Credit cards maxed out, student loans she didn't even try to pay, designer clothes she flaunted like armor. She was always the type to leap off cliffs and expect someone else to catch her. And my parents always did. Always, I should have known they'd turn their eyes toward me eventually. One evening, I walked into the driveway, keys jingling in my hand, ready to take my car for a spin. But the driveway was empty. My heart thudded, my stomach twisted. I thought maybe it was stolen. I ran inside, frantic, shouting, "Where's my car?" And my mother, with the calmness of someone telling me dinner would be late, said, "Oh, honey, we sold it. Hannah needed help. She's family. You'll understand one day." I froze. My blood turned to ice. My voice cracked as I screamed, "You what?" My father didn't even look up from his newspaper. "Your sister was drowning. We had to bail her out. That car was a luxury, Sophia. Don't be dramatic." I felt the air leave my lungs. I gripped the edge of the kitchen counter because if I didn't, I would have collapsed. That car wasn't just a luxury. It was my blood, my soul, my years of sacrifice. They ripped it from me like it was theirs to take. My own parents, my own flesh and blood. Hannah walked in then, her fake sympathy plastered across her face. "Soph, I'll pay you back someday. Promise." She said it with that smug smile, the kind of smile that said she knew she never would. That night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the rage inside me boiling so hot it hurt to breathe. They thought I'd swallow it. They thought I'd play the dutiful daughter, let it slide, let Hannah get away with it again. But something snapped inside me. I swore I'd make them pay. Every last one of them. If blood was thicker than water, then I'd turn my blood into fire. I started small. I didn't scream anymore. I didn't argue. I smiled. I acted like I'd forgiven them. Because revenge isn't loud. It's silent, meticulous, and sharp as glass. And I had time. Hannah got a job 6 months later, some cushy marketing gig through one of Dad's connections. She bragged about her salary, about her bonuses, but she never mentioned my car, not once. My parents doted on her, praised her like she was the second coming of Christ. Meanwhile, I kept my silence, kept working, kept saving, but I was also planning. I documented everything. I kept the receipt from the dealership, the proof that I had bought the car with my own money. I kept records of the payments I made, the hours I worked, every cent that was mine. I had legal claim, but I didn't just want the money back. I wanted them to feel the weight of betrayal like I had. I wanted them to choke on it. The day came when Hannah announced she was buying a condo downtown. My parents beamed with pride, offered to help with the down payment. And that's when I struck. At dinner, with the whole family gathered, I pulled out the folder I'd kept hidden for years. "Before we celebrate," I said, my voice steady but sharp, I think it's time Hannah settled her debt. The table went silent. Hannah blinked at me. What debt? I laid the papers on the table like a dealer, throwing down aces. The car, the one I paid for, the one Mom and Dad sold behind my back to cover your mess. You owe me, and I'm done waiting. My mother's face drained of color. Sophia, don't ruin this moment, and no. I cut her off. My voice shook, but not from fear. From fury barely contained. You ruined me when you sold my car. Tonight she pays. Hannah laughed nervously. Soph, it's been years. You can't seriously. Every cent. I said. With interest. The room crackled with tension. My father slammed his fork down. This is ridiculous. I leaned in, eyes burning. What's ridiculous is stealing from your own daughter. What's ridiculous is enabling her while you crushed me. You didn't just sell a car. You sold my trust, and tonight, I'm collecting. I had anticipated their pushback, but I was ready. I pulled out the final card legal documents. I had spoken with an attorney, prepared everything. Either she pays, or this goes to court, and trust me, a judge will love to see proof of fraud and theft within a family. My sister's smug smile faltered. For the first time in her life, she looked cornered. My parents stammered, tried to smooth things over, but I didn't budge. The silence stretched until finally, Hannah broke. Fine, she snapped. How much? I named the exact figure, adjusted for years of inflation and interest. Her face turned pale. It was more than she could casually throw away, even with her cushy job. But I didn't care. She agreed, begrudgingly, because she had no choice. The papers were signed that night. I watched her hand tremble as she wrote her name, and I felt something electric ignite inside me. Just as weeks later, the first payment hit my account, then another, and another. With every deposit, I felt a piece of myself stitched back together. I didn't buy another car right away. I didn't need to. The money wasn't just cash, it was proof. Proof that I had taken back control. Proof that they couldn't bury me without consequence. My parents stopped looking me in the eye after that. The golden glow around Hannah dimmed, the balance shifted, and me, I walked taller. I drove past the dealership sometimes, just to hear the roar of engines and remind myself I had won. Do you want to know the best part? When Hannah finally finished paying me back, with every cent squeezed out of her paychecks, she ended up selling her precious condo to cover the debt. The same condo my parents once bragged about. They watched their golden child tumble, and for once, they couldn't save her. And me, I stood there, watching it all crumble, and I felt nothing but satisfaction, because revenge isn't about screaming or fists. It's about patience. It's about waiting in the shadows until the moment they least expect it, and then watching as they regret underestimating you. My parents sold my dream car for my sister, but I made sure she paid for it every cent, and the day she handed me her last payment, she didn't just repay the money. She repaid the betrayal, she repaid the silence, she repaid my rage, and that was the sweetest ride of all.